Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you to all of you joining us this morning live, woodwardsports.com. Jeff, Iafrate, Adham, Beydoun. Jeff, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good. I'm good. You got.
How's Michigan traffic treating you this year?
Dude, it's always bad. The last 2 days, for some reason, it's not even like there's snow on the ground, but there's been accidents every time. The last 2 days, I've been on my way here, so I'm good. I can drive in this any type of weather, but it seems like people in Michigan, it's like a flip of a switch. It gets a little cold out, and everyone's crashing their car. Yeah, I don't. It is what it is, though. I'm excited, though. Pistons play today.
Pistons do play tonight.
Basketball's back. I mean,
10:30 game tonight, huh?
Yeah, West Coast. Yeah, they're on the West Coast trip.
Clippers,
I hate those games. I stayed up last night to watch the Suns and Golden State. I passed out halfway through because it's like 11:30. It's the NBA for you. Unless you're staying up till 12:30, you're not catching an entire game.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what I got for you. Jameson Williams set to return to practice sometime after Thanksgiving. What does that mean for the Lions? We'll do that at 8:15. 8:30, Sean Murphy joins the show to talk about those very same Detroit Pistons. 8:45, Aidan Hutchinson. We haven't done a spotlight on the number 2 overall pick, I would say, in maybe 6-7 weeks. And I have a very interesting question for all of you, along with really my opinion on what Aidan Hutchinson has been so far for the Lions. Top of the hour. Great stuff. Dan Campbell, I'm sure all of you actually have heard his entertaining interview with Brian Daboll.
It's iconic.
That is going to be a fun segment. Of course, the second hour, we'll get to all the biggest surprises and disappointments around the NFL. We'll go to college football. A lot of great stuff tonight. Thursday night football, of course. So it's going to be a great show, but we'll start off with this. Pistons play tonight. And you know what, Jeff? Before we get Sean on, probably 28, 29 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
The reality with this team is, you and I had a conversation before the season started. What was it? 29 wins? 31 wins?
Yeah, that was about where it was.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
They're lucky to get 20 right now. And I'm not smashing the panic button. I'm not going to tell you that your coach is an idiot, even though I think he is. I'm not going to say any of that. What I'm going to say is, it's not working. The dynamic on the court isn't working. And when I say it isn't working, I'm not saying they aren't playing well at times or they aren't playing hard. They are going 3, 4, 5-minute stretches consistently without scoring. Or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-minute stretches
without stopping
without
anybody.
a stop.
Yeah.
It is always something dramatic like that I've seen with this team. If I just forget about the wins and losses for a second. Jeff, when they need a stop, 9 times out of 10 they don't make it. And when they need a bucket and everyone's getting cold and it's Hayes out there and Bogdanovich and Bay and whoever, they can't find a bucket to save their lives.
I understand that, and also
it's a concern. I'm not saying the season's over or
right.
They're not developing enough. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing.
But at least from my perspective, I kind of knew what I was signing up for. I mean, we're 15 games into the year so far, and the entire 10-man, at least the ideal 10-man lineup has yet to play together. I mean, Burks and Bagley come back. As soon as they come back, Cade gets hurt. Isaiah Stewart's out for a couple weeks. It's going to be hard. I mean, you expected this team to be healthy earlier on, to be able to build that chemistry. They just haven't been able to do it. I mean, you look at the beginning of the year, you don't have Burks, you don't have Bagley. The bench is really the worst bench in the NBA statistically. I mean, Golden State's up there, but I believe they're right behind Golden State. And then all of a sudden, Burks and Bagley come back. It helps your bench. But then you lose Cade and you lose Isaiah. So I'm not going to panic yet. If they were healthy this entire year and they're 3-12, maybe you have more to say. But as of right now, they have to grow together, man. I mean, 15 games. You have another guard and Jaden Ivey. And there's a process. Like it's really unfortunate because I wanted Cade and Jaden to have as many reps together as possible, and they're still going to have that by the end of the year. But it is unfortunate. I mean, they're dealing with different injuries early on, and again, it's youth. Like the defense, and Neil says this best, and I've had a conversation with him about it. Defense always comes last in the NBA. Offense is the easiest to at least translate. Defensively, they're bad, yes. That's what happens when you replace Jeremy with Bojan, who's a worse defender. It's just the reality of it. We're going to have to give him a little more time. 82 games, 15 games in. I'm not going to hit the panic button, but I get why people are frustrated. They can still get to 30 wins. I mean, I get they're 3-12, but it doesn't mean they can't go on a run and get to 30
and eventually they
so,
will, right? Eventually they will go on their, quote, run. That will happen eventually. But you look at this team built from really top to bottom. Excuse me. Bogdanovich is leading you in scoring. You didn't expect that before the year. Cade leading in assists? Expected.
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart obviously in rebounds. But Jaden Ivey in steals. Jalen Duren in blocks. You're getting production. Production isn't the issue out of these young players. It is everybody collectively giving a B-plus performance in a given game, right? Because some guys are going to have an A++ performance. Some guys are going to have a C minus. It happens. But collectively, every game, can you give me as a collective a B-plus performance? If that's the case, I think your record is totally different. But then you have nights where Sadiq Bey goes 3 for 10.
Right.
Or 3 for 14 and 0 for 7 from 3. And then nights where Cade Cunningham, before he got hurt, what was it, 1 of 11, I believe?
Yeah.
You can't have that in the NBA. Let me rephrase it, actually. You can't have it on a team with this talent. That can't happen with this kind of talent. You don't have Kevin Durant, Giannis, Devin Booker, or any of these guys in the league, Ja Morant. You don't have these guys yet.
Yeah.
They're developing, but you don't have them yet to where you can afford your number 2 or your number 3 option to go scoreless for the night. That's really the concern. It's consistency. They are young, and what do you know? A team that is young is, Jeff, inconsistent.
Right.
That
and
is
the only,
fair.
to be fair, I mean, I'm not trying to defend them, but these are just the facts. If you look at the schedule, they've had one of the tougher schedules in the NBA, especially for a young team. They played Boston twice, Golden State, Milwaukee twice on the road, Atlanta twice. Like, the only, I guess, gimme games they had would be OKC. They won that game. They had Orlando early in the year. They won that game. And then they went on the road to the New York Knicks, which are a play-in / back-end playoff team. They lost to them. Like, they haven't really had too many of those, at least gimmies. It's been mostly contenders they face. Cleveland, the thing about Cleveland is they lost without Donovan or Darius Garland, which if you're frustrated about that, I get that. But still, Cleveland's a good team. That's just how this works. Toronto, I get they didn't have some of their better players. They're still well coached. They still have guys that can step up. So. We the North is what they say, Fish. So I'm willing to give them some more time. The starting point of their schedule was brutal. It really was.
Well, let me say this. One very important thing for you to remember, Jeff. You may not be worried. That's fine. But 3 years ago, you don't have this problem. The East now, Jeff, is the juggernaut of the league in terms of conferences. Mm-hmm. The East is the problem. Every matchup is difficult for Detroit now. It's not like 4, 5, 6 years ago. So I think take that into consideration a little bit. I want to pivot a little bit. Giants Wire released an article about head coach Brian Daboll and why he isn't too worried about the Lions' explosive offense, which has scored 30 or more points in 4 games this year. Which impressive. But the problem is Detroit, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but the data point here is Detroit doesn't beat you typically on a 12, 13, 15 play drive, right? They beat you on big plays. And you want to talk about teams with some of the most big plays? The Lions have 36 pass plays over 20 yards. Mm-hmm. That's among the best in the NFL. And they also have 6 runs over 20 yards and 4 over 40 yards. Impressive if you ask me. But plays right into the hands of the Giants as one of the teams in the NFL and one of the defenses that gives up the fewest big play moments in games. So my question this morning, before we segue into Jameson Williams and Sean and then Aidan Hutchinson a little later, is this is the coach we've compared Dan Campbell to, along with Arthur Smith, along with Robert Saleh, for various reasons, and really all different reasons.
Right.
Do you believe that Dan Campbell and this football team, coming off 2 impressive wins, 2 gutsy wins, consecutive wins, a road win, going into MetLife with a 7-2 football team looking to really make a claim for the top of their division
Right.
at the moment.
Especially with Philly's loss.
I think the thing you have going for you, and the question I will ask is, I think we'll all agree, the Giants aren't your typical 7-2 football team, right? They are not the kings of the NFC. They're not part of that group. They are significantly overachieving, and I think all of you in Detroit would take their record right now. Having said that,
no question.
Having said that, this isn't some complete team. You still have questions about Daniel Jones. They have completely limited their offense to an extent where they're basically run first, throw when we have to, play good defense, and punt. And it works. But they're only scoring 17 a game. So my question is, the more you look at this matchup, how do you not have the conversation with yourself where you can point out the ways the Lions can actually win this game, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely ways the Lions can win this game. I understand it's on the road as well, and the Giants so far, their schedule hasn't been the toughest, but they're winning games, right? And
Wake up, fish!
They're well coached. So the way I look at it is this. The Giants wide receiver core, it's definitely the worst wide receiver core that this secondary has faced all year, no question. But they haven't beaten any winning teams, and the Giants would qualify as one of those teams. And they have an opportunity this week to face a quarterback in Daniel Jones, who, again, another mobile quarterback, doesn't really turn the ball over. They can hit you with big plays with Darius Slayton downfield, and Saquon Barkley right now is the best running back in the NFL. So, again, for a defense that has been wishy-washy on stopping the run against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, they did a good job. And then against the Chicago Bears, they did a decent job besides Justin Fields, Montgomery, and Herbert. They didn't let take off for any huge plays. I think there's a chance they can definitely beat them for an offense that has scored, 27 one time all year with the Giants.
Offensively, you have an opportunity to take advantage.
You do.
Not of the defense, because it is a very good defense. It's a top 10
and
defense.
They're missing Xavier McKinney.
Yes.
He's out with a wrist injury
But
for a couple more weeks.
But
they got a Dory Jackson. They got some guys.
If I told
over
you
there.
the Lions scored 20 points this game against the Giants, I think if you're honest with yourself, you sit there and say, they have a chance.
Yeah.
I think the minimum number you need to score if you want to have a chance to win this game, given your defense, I would say 20. 24, feeling a little better. But again, you never know. When we get back, Jameson Williams is set to return to practice after Thanksgiving. What it means for the Lions. Hell, what it means for Brad Holmes. We've talked about Brad Holmes a lot on this show. What it means for him and what he's been building moving forward now that you potentially may see Jameson Williams by the start of December. We always talk about the process. You always talk about a rebuild. You talk about the building blocks of your franchise. You're getting closer to seeing what was a very important pick. And we'll explain why coming up in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy.
Well, November 22nd is 99-cent Big Boy Day with the purchase of a Pepsi. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy. Visit bigboy.com for full details and participating locations.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Chili Peppers Tanning, because it is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters. 27 locations and more on the way.
Chili Peppers Tan.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, 8:15. A beautiful Thursday morning. I'm sure all of you are getting excited, getting closer to the weekend. Thursday night football today. Fish, when does the World Cup start again? Sunday?
Sunday morning, sir.
What is the opening match?
Qatar and Ecuador.
Ah.
What do you mean,
By the way, they
It's
have
gotta
done
be the host.
such a disgusting job. See, this is why you shouldn't...
I
I'm
want to
just
get
saying
your
it.
opinions on
I
it. Did
can
you
say
see that?
it because most of you probably can't, because you'll get canceled, but I can. All right? This is why you shouldn't host or give the Middle East nice things.
So you saw that yesterday then?
Huh?
The Denmark
I
reporter
did. I did. That is BS. This is why the Middle East shouldn't have nice things when it comes to world events. That's why. Mattresses on the floor, $200 a night, for what?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty stupid.
Come on,
And
that is garbage.
They're the richest country in the world.
They're
so
the richest. It's
you
the
would
one makes
expect-
no sense.
Yeah, it does.
They have spent the most money on this World Cup and somehow, some way, forgot about the 4 essentials: a bathroom, a shower, a bedroom, and food. What are we doing?
They probably didn't want to spend money.
God, no wonder we're at war 24/7. Holy hell. Get it together. Anyways.
Did you see Neil ask the question, would you rather watch Nebraska versus Iowa or USA versus England in the World Cup?
USA-England is going to be the most watched game, in my opinion, in the effing country that week.
You think so?
And it'll outdo the World Series. It'll outdo part of the NBA Finals.
Wow.
It'll outdo a lot of it.
I sure hope you're right.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about a global game here.
Yeah, but we're talking American audiences.
It doesn't
here.
matter. You're going to have all of America, for the most part.
Okay.
I would bet 25 million minimum.
Whoa, okay.
Would be watching this game, minimum.
I sure hope so.
I'm very confident in that number. Having said that,
I hope you'll be watching.
I agree. I
will.
agree.
Okay.
I'll be tuning into the World
I'm supporting
Cup
the U.S. all the way this year.
rather than Nebraska versus Iowa.
Okay.
And I've seen some answers where they're like, what? College football? Still college football?
No one's watching Nebraska and Iowa over the United States in the World Cup.
No.
And you guys have to remember.
You got to talk stick.
You guys have to remember the U.S. did not qualify in 2018. So this is like kind of the redemption team. Not that they're expected to win it, but if they get out of the group stage, that is a huge step forward, in my opinion, for U.S. soccer.
And then we host in 26.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Having said that, let's have some fun here. Jameson Williams set to return to practice after Thanksgiving. Jeff, we have had the Brad Holmes conversation often. At times defending him, at times, of course, praising his moves, and then, of course, criticizing some of those weird trades, signings, whatever. Look, no GM is perfect, but when the season started, you knew J-Mo wasn't ready, right? I think we all agree with this. Now, Lions fans, I want you to listen very carefully because this is very important now. I am not putting any all-pro, Pro Bowl, big-time wide receiver expectations day one on this kid. I'm not doing that. Having said that, the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes and company traded up to grab this wide receiver. They have given him all the time in the world to rehab and come back. I think it is a fair expectation that day one, game one, his return, he's a guy that you see gets 7, 8 targets in this offense.
Yeah.
3, maybe half of them, maybe 4 big shots downfield.
Well,
I'm just saying.
see if Jared can do it.
And I'm not saying that it is a must or a given or I'm going to be slamming the table. But what I'm trying to explain here, what I'm trying to prepare you for, is how he looks down the stretch will dictate your optimism going into the next season, even prior to the draft. I'll tell you why. Let's play scenario game here. You lose the next 2. Hell, you split. You split the next 2, you are a 4-17. You lose to Jacksonville, you're 4-8, he returns. 5 games left on the year. If Jameson Williams in that 5-game stretch hauls in 22 catches, for, 375 yards and 3 touchdowns. And 2 of them are like 60-plus yard receptions. I think everybody
you'll take that to the
in
bank.
town would acknowledge, wow, can't wait to see 17 games of that next year, right? Yeah, I think you kind of get where I'm going with this, Jeff. That is important to me. And I think it's important for all of you to have somewhat of a legitimate expectation that this kid is going to walk in and give you a whole new dynamic to your offense. We know you can run the ball. We know Amon-Ra St. Brown is your go-to third down guy. We know that you can make it work with Khalif Raymond and Tom Kennedy, but it's not ideal. When he gets back, now defenses are playing on their heels. You see what Miami, Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Mike McDaniel, you know what they're doing? They are scaring the living hell out of defenses with what? Speed.
Speed kills.
Oh, wait, where'd Mike McDaniel get that from? Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. Because when I watch the Dolphins, it looks like a lot of San Francisco 49er
pre-snap.
mixed with a lot of Kansas City Chiefs, if you ask me.
Yeah. They do a lot
If you ask me, that's what I see.
They do a ton of things pre-snap.
And there's a reason they're 7-3.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of speed, Jeff. So when J-Mo comes back, I'm going to say it from now. Get your popcorn ready. Because if he is what you want him to be, we talk about the four most important positions every single week, it seems, at this point. And what are they? Quarterback, offensive lineman, typically left tackle, a wide receiver, and a pass rusher. Protect your quarterback, give him weapons, get the quarterback, get after the opposing team's quarterback. That's how the NFL works. And you go look at all the contenders, I promise you they check off every box. I'm excited for Jameson Williams to come back.
Yeah, me too. Especially seeing how the season's trended at the wide receiver position. You have Tom Kennedy and Khalif Raymond playing significant snaps. I think that's why people are kind of heightened their expectations, or at least their excitement for Jameson to come back. I mean, you expected G.J. Chark to be here. I know he's coming back from IR. He'll be playing. But Jameson, I probably don't have the same expectations as most people. You want him to be effective day one. I want him just to get reps under his belt, especially in his first year. Hasn't played football, especially at the collegiate level, in so long. Just to see him out there would be special. I'm not having these expectations on him to be a big play threat immediately. Still got to develop that rapport. He hasn't even had a chance to practice yet with Jared Goff to develop an actual rapport. Amon-Ra's had well over a year with Jared. So I'm willing to give that more time, but no doubt, Jameson is supposed to be that big play threat. He's supposed to be that marquee wide receiver. That's why you traded up for him. So no question, especially next season, you're going to have big expectations for Jameson. But as soon as he comes back, man, he's going to help out Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to help out if DJ Chark's there. He's going to make everybody else better. Jared Goff, you could dump off the ball to Jameson Williams, and yards after catch, he could take it to the house. Like, that's the reality of Jameson and what he brings with his speed. So, again, it's exciting. I think everyone wants Jameson back, especially how the season's trending. You're kind of still in the playoff hunt. You know, you feel like a player like Jameson would help out this offense. And no doubt Ben Johnson and Jared Goff are itching to get him back as well. So my expectations, Adam, you kind of already hit it on it. You want him to come back. If he's getting 60, 70 yards a game for those last couple games, I'm okay with that. Just get him in a rhythm.
And you want to see how he stretches defenses,
That's it.
right? You want to see
how does he look?
How do defenses look against your offense? What does that mean for St. Brown?
Right.
What does it mean for your backfield? Ronnie Yaldo in the chat. Put Adham in the game. He could tackle Saquon. I'll tell you what. I would have to take out the biggest life insurance policy because Saquon would run my ass over. Having said that, I'll do whatever it takes.
No, it's exciting, though. Jameson, you haven't had a receiver with that type of speed maybe since Calvin Johnson. I mean, maybe size, there's a size differential,
funny?
but
I can't believe you
speed-wise,
said that.
He's incredible.
Thank you for saying that. Because maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the idiot in the room.
Yeah.
But you know, there's one thing we always forget about Calvin. We call him Megatron. We remember all the throws downfield. He'd go up and grab them.
Yeah. That man can run a
The dude on a slant route, I mean, outside of Larry Fitz and a few other guys in the league at the time.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Come on. He had 4.4 speed.
Yeah.
We forget that. That is hilarious.
6'5", yeah.
We call him Megatron. We forget the guy was 4'4", 6 what? 6'5", 6'6"? Unreal. Man, Megatron, great days. Great days.
It's my favorite player of all time, man.
Really?
Yeah, I love Megatron.
I would, you know what, given how young I am, as much as I want to say it was Barry Sanders, I only caught the extreme tail end of the last year, 2 years actually. I was so young.
Yeah.
So I would say as a Lion player, I think the best one, of course, that I watched was Calvin for sure.
Yeah, no question, man.
Man.
Love Calvin.
Yeah, excited for Jameson Williams. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, me too.
I think this is a big moment for him. You've seen the locker room really still stick it out, even when they were 1-6. They are playing hard for this coach. They are fighting for him. There are things that you can point out and say, man, when you get this, when you get that, great. But what Dan Campbell has shown the last 2 weeks is find ways to win.
Right.
No one will criticize you if you win a 6-3 game on the road in New York.
No.
Nobody.
Just win.
Nobody will criticize you if you win 41-38 on the road.
Yeah.
Even though it's not ideal and your defense needs to figure it out.
And
but
they found ways to win with Tom Kennedy and Khalif. I'm telling you, this team they're missing J-Mo as much as the fans miss him.
Honestly, a guy who I thought had his best game last week, Jared Goff.
I would agree with that.
Jared Goff, for the mental fortitude it took to not only throw that interception that didn't count, obviously, but to rebound, and on the last drive of the game for the Lions.
He was talking crap too. Don't leave that out. He got in some Bears players' faces.
The drawing the penalty, diving like a Hollywood diva. That was impressive. A lot of it. The throws to Raymond and Kennedy stick out to me.
Yeah, huge
Those
plays.
were in stride, money time throws. I could argue his best throws of the season.
Yeah.
So he really impressed me. And you want to talk about giving your quarterback the weapons to succeed? You could bring back Jameson Williams, and he's 80% of what he was in college. The offense is putting up, 24, 25 a game?
Now we're talking about...
Now you're looking back at what the early part of the season was. You're saying they could put up 27 a game.
And you're looking with Jared Goff early on with Cooks and Cooper Kupp. Give him weapons. I mean, at least he could be serviceable. So that's what the Rams are able to do.
I think at times we need to remember, too, his job is to get more out of what he has as well.
Right.
You can't just always say everything needs to be perfect for my quarterback to have success. Right. That's how you end up with a Dak Prescott. That's how you end up with a Jared Goff, right? These are guys that are middle-of-the-pack quarterbacks that you don't mind. You'll keep them. They're good bridge quarterbacks, but they are not the franchise quarterback. The guy where I'm going to show up to work, I'm going to open my pocketbook, I'm going to grab my checkbook, and I'm going to say, whatever you and your family want, you write it here. And I will never question it. And we're going to win the Division 5 of the next 7 years because of you. That's a franchise quarterback.
No question.
Having said that.
There's a handful of guys you do that for in this league.
Having said that. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, unfortunately, we are joined by Sean Murphy. So we'll get to Sean in just a bit, talk some Pistons. And then when we return from that, Aidan Hutchinson. I've been looking forward to this all day. Even from last night, I was a little giddy about this. I've been really wanting to have this conversation about Aidan. I can't wait. 8:45 coming up. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in their own communities. It is very rewarding, but also it comes with great responsibility. If you sit on a local youth sports board, homeowners association, or a volunteers coach, directors and officers insurance is a must. Make sure the kids, parents, and volunteers are protected. Call our friends at Swiss Insurance today.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
All right, open all winter long. This is probably the best time of the year for family, friends, whoever you want to bring out with you. Decked Out Detroit returns to downtown Detroit this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway, a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks before and after the games, shop, eat, and play downtown with Decked Out Detroit. We are back. Live, 8:31, woodwardsports.com. Thank you to everybody joining us this morning. Here's where we're at. We are joined by the infamous, I would say, how would I describe this gentleman? This gentleman is sleek, the physique of a god, the IQ of Albert Einstein, one of the most integral, one of the most important basketball minds we have seen in the last 55 years.
Wow.
We are joined by Sean Murphy. What's up, buddy?
A slim physique, the tan of a Greek god. You're absolutely right, Adam. Good to see you, both you and Jeff this morning. Thank you so much for having me. Really.
Yeah, of course, man. Miss you. It's been too long.
Yeah,
I guess
dude.
I'll start. Last time you were on, we talked about Killian Hayes' slow development. Since then, he's strung along a few really good games for his expectation.
Right.
Not that it matters. Having said that, Sean, what is the deal with Killian? I know we ask this a lot. I know we try to find answers to maybe an equation we don't really have solved yet. But what is it with Killian Hayes? Why is it so inconsistent? And for a guy with Cade Cunningham out of the lineup, you would think, my goodness, 32, 34 minutes, really the lead distributor. And it's kind of, man, his jumper just doesn't look like a normal jump shot. It doesn't look repeatable. And when I talk about players that can shoot the rock, their release is very, very repeatable. That's one of the most important things about a jump shot. Can you repeat it often, consistent, under pressure, open, guarded? Does it matter? I'm not seeing any offensive game with Killian, but Sean, is there something I can look forward to with this kid?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that it's about putting together consistent performances on a regular basis for him. You talk about the fact that, we've seen the flashes, the both games against Boston. He had some pretty stellar performances in the last game Cade played before he, started missing time with injury. He had a great performance, in the TD Garden. I think the big thing for him, that we've seen is when he not only is he able to, actually get some attempts to score the ball. I think the big thing for him has been just keeping it simple and doing things that he can do. I mean, it feels like, it clicked that he could actually score and that he could use his body and his physical gifts to actually get to his spots and create opportunities for himself. And so I think, obviously after the game, after his first game in Boston, he said that he feels like things are starting to click, that he feels like he was starting to learn how to score more and more in this league. I think the big thing for him is being able to create plays on the defensive end, because I think a lot of times that we've seen with Killian, when his shot isn't falling, the other aspects of his game start to go too. And when Killian isn't passing, that's a problem. When Killian isn't defending, that's a problem, because scoring, we don't know what we're getting on a night-to-night basis. But if we can count on his defensive effort and if we can count on his passing, then that's something that can keep him in the lineup on a consistent basis. So I think for Killian, I think it's about starting plays on the defensive end with his hustle, with it, with his physical gifts, with his ability to cause turnovers. And then from there, I think, that gets the other parts of his game going. So I think we've seen, the fact that, there's still so much in this kid talent-wise that we still can't write him off just yet, just because that's just how gifted he is, right? But, to your point, if he's going to want to keep on the court, he's going to have to keep up this offensive burst he's had. Otherwise, the other parts of his game start to go too.
And Sean, also, when you look at this team so far on the season, 3-12, and we've had conversations about Dwayne Casey, and me and you are kind of in lockstep about it, where this team is, the youth they have. We kind of expected them not to be 3-12, but to be around that number. We didn't expect this team to be good right off the bat, especially for a team that has to gel together, and they haven't had really their entire 10-man, your lineup playing healthy. I mean, you get Burks and Bagley back, Cade and Isaiah Stewart now are gone, Stu's out for a couple weeks. Give me your case, at least your response to those who criticize Dwayne or want Dwayne fired. Because, listen, the thing I don't understand is, why would you fire a coach 15 games into a season, especially with a young team? You're going to bring in somebody else to take over when Dwayne's been preaching these 15 games, the offseason, and just expect them to fix everything. I don't understand it, but what are your thoughts on the Dwayne Casey narrative that, we need a new coach 15 games into an 82-game season?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, anytime you see the losses starting to pile up as a fan, I can understand why that's frustrating or why you want to look for answers as to what exactly is happening. But if you want to look at the truth, what's happening isn't because of coaching. And the reason why they're losing as many games as they are isn't because of coaching. I mean, if you look at the Pistons going into the season, let's look at what they did this offseason, right? They trade Jeremy Grant, a guy, that, Adham Beydoun might not have loved, but we're seeing over in Portland as the Portland Trailblazers are the number one seed in the Western Conference, largely because of the addition of Jeremy Grant. We're seeing how much he's sorely missed on the Pistons roster this season. But I think in addition to that, I think you're also seeing, with that, they decided to bring in Jalen Duren. They decided to get that extra draft pick, but in exchange, brought in the dead salary of Campbell Walker. And they still have about $20+ million in dead salary cap this season. Also, to your point, we haven't seen this team healthy pretty much until earlier this week. And even then, the second they were, Cade and Isaiah Stewart are gone, right? So
Sean, did somebody shove something down your throat? You've been doing some funky stuff lately? What's going on?
No, actually, just got over a food poisoning bout. Shout out Chipotle for that. Really appreciate it. But anyway.
Chipotle is good.
It is.
When continue.
It doesn't. It is when it doesn't put me on the sideline for a half a week. But anyway, the ultimate thing. Listen, the roster that he's had around him, we've had multiple nights with less than 20 points from our second unit. You can't win when you guys aren't hitting shots. The other night against Toronto, we missed 12 free throws.
Yeah.
Dwayne Casey can't go out there and make shots for guys on a night-to-night basis.
Are you sure? Are you sure, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, apparently people expect him to. Even the other night, we get Alec Burks and Marvin Bagley back in our lineup. Two guys that average on a career, 30 points a game combined. They come into the lineup, they do just that in their first game together, and then, of course, Cade and Isaiah Stewart are out. So a lot of it's bad luck. A lot of it's the roster that they have available to them. A lot of it is the reality of their youth and where they're at in the grand scope of the league. Because we've even seen teams like the Warriors are a borderline play-in team this year.
Right.
And then you look at the rest of the league, it's just bizarre. I mean, the Utah Jazz currently would have home court advantage in the playoffs. So everything about this season's just been bizarre.
Yeah, I don't understand the narrative either that people discuss there's no improvement. The record-wise, what were you, one win better last year with Jeremy Grant, who's a way better defender than you have on this current roster. And on top of that, if you want to talk about improvement, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but in my eyes, I think Ivy's been better than expected. I think Cade's taken that next step, although he struggled statistically, shooting percentage-wise. I'm not too concerned about that. He's shown he's taken that next step. I thought Sadiq Bey, he had a bad performance coming off the bench, but before that, he was on a 20-game-a-night streak for 5 nights, and then you have Isaiah Stewart, who's given you a double-double this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but is there improvement this year from the players?
Oh, absolutely there's improvement.
Okay, all right.
I think it's the big thing that you have to look at. First of all, Isaiah Stewart, you talk about the improvement that he's had before he was sidelined with that injury. I think you've seen his, the game that he's been working on and what he really wants to do. He talked this offseason about how much he watched Al Horford and the Boston Celtics and what they asked their bigs to do there. And even though, there have still been times where Detroit has struggled to protect the paint, a lot of that hasn't been at the fault of Isaiah Stewart. He's been really strong on the defensive end. We talked about how great Jalen Duren was on the glass at the beginning of the season, but it was Isaiah Stewart who's been a force on the rebounding for Detroit. He's been a double-double machine for them. And also his ability, we talk about his jump shot and what he's been doing from beyond the arc. His jump shots really impressed me in the mid-range. Aidan Cunningham, another guy who's been really great in the mid-range as well. We talk about his jump shot and his struggles there. This shin injury, if you're asking me, actually explains a lot with his shooting struggles and his consistency, because when you're shooting off of a bad wheel, that's generally going to make your shooting percentage go down. But when he was healthy, when he was playing good basketball, and when he was at the peak of his powers this season, he looked like one of the best players in the league. And then you talk about how great Jaden Ivey's been, how he's exceeded expectations. You talk about how much of a pro's pro Jalen Duren has looked. There's signs that this team is going to be special. It's just they're still in the dog days of the rebuild. They're still going through the bumps and the struggles of learning
if I may,
these teams.
If I may, Sean, I would, to your point, and I'll build off of it, I think people really need to go back and look at what Steph Curry looked like, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, those early days. And I believe it was 4 consecutive years. They won anywhere from 15 to 28 games. That was the Golden State Warriors. And then they brought in Mark Jackson. And then they started winning. And then it was 52 wins. And then it was Steve Kerr. And then the rest is history. You will not contend in this Eastern Conference until Cade is in year 4, I think.
Right.
Because you're going to need him to be a star player, and you'll need Ivy to be a star player. And when you have those 2 stars, I think everything eventually will fall into place. Having said that, though, they suck right now. And there is no excuse for that. But I want to go off a video you posted yesterday, right? Saddiq Bey. Should the Pistons be concerned with Saddiq Bey? And my question to you is, not only should they, I'm not sure what he is supposed to do on the court at times. He's not the primary ball handler. You don't want him handling the ball. But a lot of the times he's dribble penetrating. He's trying to attack the basket. And he's not your traditional, spot-up shooter, because he's a little more capable than that. But you also don't need him to do what he is doing now. Where's the balance for Saddiq Bey on this basketball team?
Yeah, I think to your point, Adam, I think if anything, what we've seen with the presence of Bojan Bogdanovic, I think we've seen, a lot of what Saddiq Bey needs to grow, where he needs to grow. But also, I think to your point, you've also seen, the questioning of what exactly his role and what exactly his place is within the lineup. That change with him going, being more of that primary ball handler with the second unit certainly seems like an opportunity for him to have more of those opportunities. I think with Saddiq, it's been interesting because even though his scoring hasn't been down, his scoring from beyond the arc certainly has gone down. And I think a lot of it, with him is being able to find his opportunities from beyond the arc and starting to consistently, get that shot going. But at the same time, I think with Saddiq, it's also about what are you doing when your shot's not falling, or what are you doing when you're not scoring? Because I think a lot of times with Saddiq, when he's not shooting the basketball, he looks to disappear on the court. He looks like his presence isn't felt out there. And that's a problem, because you need to be able to have an impact when your shot isn't always falling, especially when you have a lineup with guys like Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Isaiah. It's the Pistons have capable scorers now, right? And so I think when you look at Saddiq Bey, especially as as we go through the course of this restoration, as we continue to go forward, to your point, you're going to have to be able to find your spot and find your purpose within this lineup. So I'm interested to see if him being in that second unit, him being that 6th man, is ultimately what they find, that he can come in and be that spark plug off the bench, that consistent offensive unit, or that offensive piece for that second unit. But at the same time, to your point, I think it's going to have to come from things other than the offensive end. I think we're going to have to see improved rebounding from Sadiq. I think, even improved playmaking from Sadiq, like more aspects of his game. But I think overall, there's definitely been signs of good play still. It's just we got to see the shot fall at some point.
Yeah, no question. And real quick before you go, Pistons play the Clippers tonight. Quick expectations for the game, and what are your thoughts on it? They take a West Coast trip, and they got the Clippers, the Lakers. Just keeps getting better, doesn't it, Sean?
Oh, the California run is here. What we dread and are afraid of each and every year. But listen, I think the big thing for the Pistons is to keep it close and keep it competitive and find a way to sneak one of these wins, out of the crypto or the crypt.com arena, whatever the hell they want to call it. But I think the big thing, for Detroit is being able to stay competitive with guys like Paul George, with guys, go up against guys like Luke Kennard and hold your own and beat former Pistons and make sure that you're making your presence known. I think the important thing is for Detroit getting your first road win as soon as humanly possible and staying as close in these games as humanly possible. I think the big thing is obviously you don't want to see the losses continue to stack up. But if you are going to lose, you don't want to lose by 10 plus, right? So I think for them, it's about being more competitive, being more consistent, but continuing to stay in games.
All right, Sean. Well, look, appreciate you hopping on. Thank you so much. Been too long. Let's not make it 10, 15 weeks again. Also, do me a favor, your green screen, I don't know if you noticed, we changed it up for you. My eyes were bleeding staring at the green screen, so I had to change it.
I'm still trying to figure this out, I promise.
Well, we figured it out on our end, so you don't have to worry. We took care of you. You're going to walk in every time. There's going to be a blue screen behind you. Maybe next time I'll have a bunch of cats behind you. Who knows? I'll figure it out.
I'd love that. Being a Kitty Wonderland, talking all about basketball, that sounds great.
I love it, Sean. You take care, buddy.
Guys,
enjoy the rest of your day.
Go Pistons.
All right, when we get back, I've been talking about this since the start of the show. 15 minutes uninterrupted till the top of the hour. I want to talk to all of you at home about Aidan Hutchinson. Phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. I will give my opening diatribe, all right? And you're all more than welcome to call in.
Please do.
And tell me, Adam, fuck you, or Adam, we agree here. You can be civil. We'll do that coming up in just a bit, but before we go, I got to tell you about where you need to go to not only get into shape, but really just change your life. Planet Fitness is home of the Judgment-Free Zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym has always been known for its clean locations, and what do you know? They're one of the best at it. Your fitness is essential. Sign up today, $10 a month in club at Planet Fitness, or visit them at planetfitness.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live WoodwardSports.com. We've been talking about this for a minute now. Aidan Hutchinson, where he ranks, not only in the NFL, among the rookie class, how he's done so far this season. And what I'm here to tell you is, when you drafted him, when he was selected number 2 overall, the expectation, the responsibility that comes with being the number 2 overall pick. Through the first game of the year, it looked as if, oh no, it's not looking all that great. What is he going to do? And then it was Washington, 3 sacks, huge first half. Then it was a few weeks of struggling. And then it got even better and better and better. And now in the last 5 weeks, he's posted a 65 grade or higher in 3 of the last 5 games on defense, 2 of which were above 78, which is, by the way, top 25 among edge rushers in that span. And where things get really interesting with Aidan Hutchinson is he's been a menace. And I would say Chicago was his best, not only his best game of the year, but his most impactful game. You gave him credit at the goal line against Aaron Rodgers, right? You saw what he did against Green Bay. He had the interception. You saw him back off his rush and understand that Bakhtiari was running behind him. There's nothing he can do to get to Rodgers now. It's time to back up and just kind of be a body in the way. Aaron Rodgers threw a bad ball. Interception, Aidan Hutchinson, big play, turned the game around, yada, yada, yada. But 5 stops in that game for Aidan Hutchinson. 5.
Huge.
Along with a sack. And not only a sack, that came in the first quarter, so the box score looks nice.
He made a play.
He made a play. Chicago is why the F you drafted him. Game on the line. Opposing team has the ball. You have the lead. How do you stop a team from moving the ball downfield? Get after the quarterback. Aidan Hutchinson, what'd he do, Jeff? Got after the quarterback.
What I asked him to do last week, make a play down the stretch. And he literally did that.
He made the play against Rodgers,
yeah,
and then a sack and a 2-minute drill against the Bears. That is drafting the cocaine, right? That is drafting a premier edge rusher, who, by the way, leads all rookies in sacks, in case some of you might have forgotten. Maybe you didn't know, but Aidan Hutchinson does lead all rookies in sacks. That is a fact, and he ranks among the league. He's up there, man. At 5.5 sacks, he's tied for 23rd. Rookie year. He's tied among the names of Rashawn Gary, J.J. Watt, DeForest Buckner, Jeffrey Simmons, Aaron Donald. That's who he is part of. Guys, he has more sacks than Devin White, Gregory Rousseau, Jonathan Allen, Carl Lawson, Trey Hendrickson, Montez Sweat. That's who he has more sacks than.
You're starting to see that high floor, that immediate impact. Aidan was that type of prospect.
And this is why you draft him.
Right.
It's that simple. There is no cutting around it. There's no avoiding the conversation. That is why you drafted Aidan Hutchinson. To be your premier edge rusher for the next decade. Right. To be the guy you rely on 3rd and long. The guy you rely on in 2-minute warnings when you have the lead, but the opposing team has the ball. And all they need to do is drive 40, 50 yards downfield to win the game. No. We have our guy. The Rams lose the Super Bowl if Aaron Donald doesn't make the play he made at the end of the game. Because if he doesn't get there a second sooner, or a second later,
Jamar Chase wide open.
Jamar Chase is 40 yards downfield wide open for the game-winning touchdown. He got after Joe Burrow. He couldn't get the ball off. That is how you win games in the NFL. The formula is so simple. Who's got the best record in the NFL right now? The Eagles? Do they got a pass rush? Do they got weapons?
They check every box.
Do they got an offensive line?
Yeah.
Do they got a quarterback? Cool. What about the Bills? Do they have a pass rush? Gregory Rousseau, Von Miller? I would say yes.
They do.
Stephon Diggs? Yep. An offensive line? Yep. A quarterback? Yep. Go to the, let's see, Kansas City. Quarterback? Yep. Offensive line? Yep.
Pass rush? Yep.
Pass rush? Yep.
Chris Jones is a menace.
Wide receivers? It's Andy Reid. They're finding ways.
Yeah.
God bless them. They're special. I would count Travis Kelce as that premier wide receiver.
Yeah.
Go back to the NFC. Hell, the Minnesota Vikings. Offensive line? Check. Quarterback? I would say check. 33 touchdowns and 6 interceptions last year. He's having an excellent year this year. You can't knock Kirk Cousins. You just can't. Check. I'm not saying he's elite, but he's playing very well. Check the box there. Pass rush. Do they got it? Yeah. Oh, Daniil Hunter? Yep. Zadarius Smith? Yep. Oh, they got a pass rush. Oh, wait, who's their wide receiver? Oh, wait, Justin Jefferson. Yep. What do you know? Trend in the NFL. Let's go to the Niners. We think the Niners are going to contend, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Debo? Yep. Offensive line? Yep. Nick Bosa? Yep. Jimmy G? Yep. Not elite, but he's playing very well. Okay, let's go to Miami. Tua? Yep. Upgraded offensive line? Yep. Bradley Chubb? Yep. Wide receivers? Wide receivers. Who are the wide receivers in Miami? Oh, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle? Yep.
You sound like E40.
Nope.
But you're right. You're absolutely right.
See where this is going?
Yeah.
So when we talk about building a foundation for the Lions football team for years to come, where you can contend and win your division and win playoff games, it starts with draft picks like this.
Right.
And that's why we that's why we touched on Jameson Williams earlier. 2 of the most important positions your GM addressed in the first round this year. Aidan Hutchinson's on the field delivering. Jameson Williams expected to be back soon, and hopefully he delivers. And again, can we please separate, at least from my perspective, I like to believe I do a good job of separating my talent evaluation, right? My front office, what they're doing, compared to what my coaching is doing. And I use this example all the time. Les Snead was a losing GM with the Rams before he hired Sean McVay. Dimitrov, I forget his name, the Atlanta Falcons GM was a losing GM before he hired Dan Quinn. So remember this. Please, all of you. The Green Bay Packers had multiple losing seasons prior to hiring Matt LaFleur.
They're just buying the groceries.
The Niners sucked prior to hiring Kyle Shanahan. Let's remember this. And this is not about Dan Campbell. I'm not saying anything about Dan right now. I'm just trying to put things into perspective for you to understand where I come from.
Right.
I am going to give you all the credit in the world when you show me playmakers the way you have. When you show me upgraded talent. When you show me drafts that make sense to me. I'm on board. It's got to be done on the field now. And right now they're 3-6. They started 1-6. It was a much more difficult conversation to have 2 weeks ago. Now it's a much better conversation to have. It's not perfect. It's not ideal. It's not really good. It's not even good. It's still below average. But it's better than what it was before right now. And I don't want to rain on that.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, 5.5 sacks.
And
he's delivered so far.
And it's not a coincidence that as he's played better, you're getting guys back. Pascal came back against the Dallas Cowboys. He had a good game. You follow that up. Now you get Kaminsky back. You get Charles Harris back. Romeo Cora is supposed to practice this week. So, again, the more help he gets around him on that defensive line, he's only going to get better. So it's definitely an exciting thing. You've seen him take strides. His best game against Washington, where he had 3 sacks and a half. John Kaminsky was playing well that game. So it's not all Aidan. You need more talent on that defensive line, and that's why I'm so excited for Romeo to come back, to see his impact, because I think Aidan's just going to take off and play even better down the stretch. He's going to be in that Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation, no question. He is in it right now. I think Sauce is still number 1, but Aidan's in there. He's lurking.
I'm with it 100%, and he will only get better. He is a rookie. If he finishes the year with 8.5 sacks, that is an impressive rookie campaign.
If you watch the Bears game or even the game before that, the Packers game, you're seeing things he picks up on that he didn't have before.
Yes, he's not.
That's the growth.
Kabinda, looking like Kabinda, sitting there in their film room or on the field like this, like fuck, steroid out. Like no, he's thinking now. And that's very good for him.
Yeah.
And they're standing up, and he's much better. And on top of it, Jeff,
mm-hmm.
if we're gonna be honest here, he is the Rookie of the Year frontrunner. If it isn't for a corner out in New York who has given up a total of 7 yards in man coverage. By the way, all of you, please listen to that number again. A rookie corner giving up 7 total yards in man coverage this year.
He's bad man. That's a bad man.
Talk to me about drafting a corner in the top 5. That's what I expect.
That's what you want.
Has Jeff Okudah played a lot better this year? He absolutely has. Credit to him.
But Sauce is a different animal.
But please stop adding me. about this amazing corner. It's not amazing. It's just good. I don't expect good out of a top 3 pick. If Aidan just got 4 sacks this year, 6 sacks, and then next year 7, and then the following year 6, and then the following year 5, it's good.
But not number 2 overall pick. Yeah,
that's not a top 3 pick for me. I'm expecting you to dominate the league. I'm expecting you to be 13, 14 sacks by year 3. I'm expecting you to be a game wrecker. Just remember that little soundbite. Before we go, Jeff, I got to tell everybody at home about our good friends over at The Butchery, the official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network.
I know you love meat.
And let me...
Wait. I was just being honest. All right? Come on. You like meat. You can cook it. See where your head goes.
The official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network. Call 248-682-COWS. That's 248-682-COWS. Or online at thebutcherysl.com. God, shipping is included. The Butchery meats, eats, and treats, sandwiches to die for, Wagyu meats, and artisan breads, inspired by the legendary chef Dave. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore. I have a lot of energy. It's great. And oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day game. That's right, front row, you and 3 people you're thankful for sitting in row 1. All you have to do is retweet on Twitter and tag 3 friends, make sure they're all following, or do it on Instagram and make sure those 3 friends are following Woodward Sports as well. You and your crew will get the best seats inside of Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew today. This awesome giveaway is brought to you by our good friends over at Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers. You okay today, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. I'm chilling. Having a good day. Good morning.
Adam loves glizzies. Eats it without the bun.
He's excited about the World Cup.
You're easy to mess with. I love it.
You sick ass.
You are easy to mess with. That's a fact.
Do a show with a...
What? What did I do now?
I'm not even going to say it.
Rex says he eats them whole. One bite. God. Oh, gosh. That's a talent.
Thank you. Very talented at what I do. Having said that.
By the way, when this came out, the interview, I didn't think it was real. It sounded like a legitimate cartoon character. Like how Dan Campbell, how he was described in that interview. I mean...
All right, go for it. Walk us through it.
So...
God.
Dan Campbell, it came out, Brian Daboll was asked about Dan, and obviously the relationship goes back to Miami. He interviewed him back in 2011 to be the tight ends coach for Miami, and he stated in that interview he remembers Campbell slamming the chairs, hitting the wall. He also stated he was out of breath by the time he finished. Quote, entertaining interview, end quote, Daboll said. If that's the interview to be the tight ends coach, I can only imagine what his interview was to be the Detroit Lions head coach.
Oh, man.
And
I would love to see that video footage leaked.
Me too. Passionate guy.
I would pay for that.
Passionate guy.
Well, look, that is who he is, right? If you know what, to be honest with you, Jeff, when I first read it, I kind of like had a shaking my head moment. I was just like, it's always something other than winning or football that they're in the news, right? And then I calmed down a little bit.
Right.
I asked myself, okay, what does this mean? And I always do this. What are you telling me without telling me, right? And what I took away from that is at least he is consistent, right? I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it isn't a bad thing. At least he is who he is. He does not hide from it.
Right.
He isn't fake. He doesn't lie in front of the camera and he's a different person in front of you than he is on camera, like a Matt Patricia.
I was just going to say that.
Like some of these guys. So you know what? As a head coach, one of the most important qualities you can have is authenticity. Having players believe in you. Believe in what you're saying. Why is Mike McDaniel having so much success right now? He's authentic. He brings swag to the table. And, of course, he's a genius. He's an offensive genius. And it's benefiting Tua, the whole offense. It's all great. You guys are sick asses in the chat, by the way. But when I heard Daboll comment on the interview, I chuckled. It's like, of course, Dan Wood, picking up a chair and throwing it across the room like...
Punching the wall.
Putting holes in the wall. Going and pumping out 15 bench presses at 225. I can do it. That's who he is, and you know what? I'm just gonna say it because I have to tell you what I think and what I believe I know. It's not my cup of tea, man. It isn't. And if he was 19-4-1 or 13-9 or 13-8-1, I'd be like, oh hell yeah, I'm with it. Damn, he's really like bucking the trend here. Good for him. Hell yeah, I support this. The winning has to continue.
That's it.
And that's all that will ever matter in this league. And I can like him because I do like him. I can like him more than any of you, for example. It doesn't matter. You need to win. And that's why the last 2 weeks have been so fun. They have been much better shows. They have been more consistent. Why? They're winning. Nobody wants to talk about a 1-8 football team and the season being over. And you're already talking about draft picks that you'll probably change your mind on in January. Like, this is what's best. He's winning at the moment. Of course, Daboll comes out and says it was an entertaining interview. Of course. I bet it was. And that's who he is. And to his credit, he hasn't changed. No. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It's not my cup of tea. But it's who he is. And I can respect people who are authentic at least. Be authentic with me. And I can respect you even if I disagree with you, even if I don't think you're capable of doing certain things. It does not matter. I will at least respect who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
No question. Being authentic is I think one of the better traits of Dan Campbell. And like you said, I think you hit on it. Winning gets rid of all of the criticisms for everything not related to football for Dan Campbell. The little things he does. Like if you bring up Mike McDaniels, what would the media be saying about Mike McDaniels if they were losing? With all the stuff he does, acting like he's getting into D-Max gummies before every interview or post-game interview. He's always chilling. Mike McDaniels is the way he is, but also it helps when he's winning, right? Like if Miami wasn't winning with the talent they had and Mike McDaniel was doing the same things he's doing, he would get crucified for it. So with Dan, this doesn't faze me. I mean, him being the way he is, being basically Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's only a problem if they lose, which they are losing. But you see progress, and that's what kind of, I think, gets rid of some of that narrative like last year when he put the helmet on, or he cried after their first win, or even, after their first win against the Packers, or the first win in quite some time after a losing streak. He talked about going home and having a beer. Like, that stuff all gets pushed aside when you're winning games. It really does. I mean, look at the antics a lot of coaches in the NFL do, but they're winning, so it goes away. At least he's authentic. I can appreciate that because if you're a Lions fan, you understand that there's been coaches in the past that are the complete opposite, putting on a fake persona like a Matt Patricia. But with Dan, I respect who he is, man. I think we're kind of in lockstep here. The only thing to get rid of the doubters is to simply just win games. That is the bottom line. If he can win games, you can't criticize him for, even doing things in post-game press conferences or doing things that gets him mentioned in the media for things not related to football. As long as they're winning at him, these things will go away. I'm not concerned about it. I love this
comment. Jimmy Smith says, Vrabel cried a couple weeks ago. No one says a thing.
Well,
I wonder why.
Vrabel's winning.
Is he 6-3 right now?
Yeah.
Has he had a winning season in all his time in Tennessee? Did he have the best record in the AFC last year with no Derrick Henry and no A.J. Brown?
Yeah.
For a stretch of games? For most of the season? No Julio Jones? Oh. He cried. So what? Mike McDaniel talks about weed. You know why nobody cares? He's 7-3 as a head coach.
There it is.
Brian Daboll's bald. You know why people don't make fun of him? He's 7-2.
Now...
Nathaniel Hackett. Oh, you know what? This is a point I really want to bring up. We only have a few minutes. Okay? Being self-aware in the NFL is so important. And I'm not saying I have all the answers 100% of the time, but I can see trends. And I look at the history of the league, and I ask myself, is this going to work? Nathaniel Hackett, right now, I will tell you from now, will not work. I think as an offensive coordinator, he is very good. Doesn't have the skill set to be a head coach. I think...
Right.
I use Jim Schwartz a lot. Not a great head coach, a very good defensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels, I don't think has the traits to be a good head coach. We've seen it too often now. You're 2-7. Yeah, the defense isn't the greatest. Yeah, you lost a lot of depth on your offense, but... Man, he's a tough one. That's one I'm going to have to chalk up as of now as you're just a better OC than you are a head coach, right? And for guys like Shanahan, for guys like McVay, or really Shanahan, because, you guys always tell me, well, Shanahan had a bad start to his career. Okay. But what did Shanahan show you when he had a starting quarterback, a legitimate one, not Nick Mullins?
Could win games.
He won 80% of his games. Oh, wait, what happened when he had a quarterback for a full season? Oh, wait, he won the division and went to the NFC Championship game. Oh, wait, and he won it and got to a Super Bowl.
Right.
And there are levels to this right now. So, yes, everybody deals with injuries. Yes, everybody deals with adversity. But you look at a lot of these head coaches, you can typically tell very early on if they're going to succeed or not. And I know, again, I don't want to do the Dan Campbell conversation this morning. Should he be in the job? Do I like him? I don't want to do that right now. But you have to understand where I come from in these conversations is I look at your record, I look at how you're coaching the games, I look at the history of the league, and I go try to find people that have had similar success as you or lack of, and I try to find a way to project you in the future. And if I can't, I'm out. That's how I work. And it's held up pretty damn well for most of my life, and I'm not moving off of it. Look at the history of the league. Look at the look at the coaches that come in. In this league more than any, you are incentivized, if anything, to walk in and turn it around in 2 years. Some are able to walk into better situations and do it year one.
Mm-hmm.
Who had a better situation this year than the Denver Broncos? Before any game was played, do the Broncos have a better roster than the Giants?
They do.
Do they have a better roster than the Falcons?
They do.
Do they have a better roster than the Seahawks?
They do.
Do they have a better roster than the Miami Dolphins? Damn, that's difficult. I would give the edge to the Dolphins by a little bit, though.
But comparable. And to your point...
Do they have a better roster than the Lions?
Oh, yeah, no question.
Well, they're worse. They suck.
Coaching matters.
And their coach sucks.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
And that matters. Just as much as a coach who isn't good, who's on a bad team, and they still suck.
Mm-hmm.
Because what a good coach would do is get more out of his players, even if they're not the best. And that's what I expect from Dan Campbell. I didn't expect it last year. I expected that this year, and that's why I put 7 on the board. 7. And you show me that you at least know what you're doing. And then we could talk about year 3 and what your expectations are and how to take your team to the next level.
Right.
But 2 weeks ago, you were 1-6, and it wasn't looking good. And he looked like a complete turd. You know what he's done the last 2 weeks? He's gotten out of the way. He hasn't cost them games. He hasn't gone for on any fourth down where you're like scratching your head, what the hell are you doing? Take the 3 points. He hasn't done it. And what do you know? They're 2-0. Tell me more about how the Lions aren't talented enough. Please, I'm entertained. Entertain me. Tell me more about how the Lions aren't talented. They have enough to win more than what they have now. They've gotten in their own way to start the year. Hopefully they've learned from their mistakes, and the rest of the way, final 8 games?
Yep.
These final 8 games, you see them continue to be sound at the coaching level, not making horrible decisions, not playing the clock awful, not giving opponents extra possessions, winning the turnover battle. That's all great. You do more of that, the wins are going to come naturally. So that's where I'm at this morning.
We're in lockstep. And for Dan, I think the last 2 weeks, it's been huge for him. It's been huge for Lions fans to see the growth, not only with him, but this defense being able to create turnovers. So a lot to look forward to. I mean, Dan, as much flack as people want to give him for how the year started, I think he's doing a good job. And we'll see how he can finish the season. I still think there's a lot left to do, and maybe they can win a couple more games. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right, here we go. We are going to take a break. When we get back, the biggest surprises and disappointments of the NFL season so far through 10 weeks. And then after that, we'll take your calls. Let's talk some Lions. I brought up Aidan Hutchinson for you. I brought up Jameson Williams and now Dan Campbell. I want your thoughts on the conversation. We'll get to all that and more, but before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Fooling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. FollingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com. Biggest surprises and disappointments around the NFL through 10 weeks. Jeff, I'll start with my biggest surprises. I can't believe I'm saying this because I have a lot of respect for this coach. But I just didn't see it happening this year.
I think me and you are going to... I think I know what you're going to say.
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They have played above their level, above their capabilities. No wide receiving core, solely reliant on their defense and Derrick Henry. Missing Ryan Tannehill for multiple weeks, going on the road to Kansas City and still being in that game, winning that game for the most part until the end and lost in overtime. He won't win Coach of the Year. He won't. That is reserved for the Dabolls, the Pete Carrolls, all these guys, okay? But if I had a, hey man, like pat on the back award, like dude, you are him. You are it. You are excellent at what you do. be Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I'll throw another one. This is easy, and I'll get this one out of the way. The New York Giants. What they've done with that roster, Brian Daboll, and again, bringing that system he had from Buffalo and getting Daniel Jones, not allowing him to beat himself, right? This is a guy that a lot of people would call a bust. He's a backup quarterback, and now this year you're 7-2 on the year. Daniel Jones has 2 interceptions on the year. He's playing some of his better football of his career since his rookie year, to be honest with you. And you got to love and appreciate what Daboll's meant. Now, they got Wink over there running the defense. They've played better than expected. So I got to give all the credit to, again, Saquon. You could argue he's the comeback player of the year and currently the best running back statistically in the NFL. So the New York Giants definitely deserve some credit. They've been fantastic. I know their schedule hasn't been the toughest. Doesn't matter. Win who's in front of you. They've beaten those teams. So no question. Daboll's, this is the coach of the year, you could argue.
I'm going to give another one out in the AFC. Biggest surprise. And again, I don't want to say it in a way where, like, I'm shocked that they have a winning record or that they're top of their division. But Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, 7-2, in what was supposed to be the hardest division in football, with 4 capable quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They are running that division.
A lot of people had them last in the division before the season.
They have just found a way, losing Tyreek Hill. They are basically rebuilding their offense and defense while still being 7-2. Credit to Andy Reid, his coaching staff, and what Mahomes has done so far. I got to give. I know it's 2 winning teams, Jeff. No, they aren't surprises in the sense like you didn't expect them to do anything. But I like to give credit where credit is due, and I think we're underappreciating what the Chiefs and the Titans have done so far, Jeff.
And another one I got to throw up there: the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, again, this is we can talk all day about why they should pay Lamar. That's no question. But what they've done coming into the year, having a wide receiver core, you traded away Hollywood Brown. You don't really have any weapons. At least I still don't think so. Besides Mark Andrews, he's the center of that offense. You had Rashad Bateman. You had Duvernay. Those guys go. At least Bateman went out with an injury. The fact that they're 6-3 right now, leading their division. Lamar Jackson, you can even make an argument he deserves to be somewhere if they keep winning in that MVP race because Lamar is a hell of a player. And John Harbaugh, we always say this, one of the most underrated coaches, I think, right now in 100%. The NFL. He's up there, man. They're doing a terrific job in Baltimore.
Let me say this. This next one, this is my last surprise for now because I want to go into disappointments. But this kid, I'm going to call him a kid, has taken a job that had all the media attention in the world around it, that had I don't want to say a country divided, but race heavily involved in the conversation. Yeah. A guy who took over a situation where the quarterback was not wanted and turned him into arguably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now.
And in the MVP race.
And that's Mike McDaniel with Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. They went out and spent that first-round pick on Tyreek Hill, and it was worth it. He's gotten more out of Waddle. He upgraded basically the entire team. They went out and got Bradley Chubb. The Miami Dolphins, to be top of their division through 10 weeks is nothing short of beyond excellent. Mike McDaniel is everything and more. And you know how I felt about him. Hell, February of last year, I was saying he's an OG. He's the next one. He's the next Shanahan McVay. Season's over. Miami interviews. They get rid of Flores. All the controversy happens. He took over. Again, I really want you guys to understand this. Mike McDaniel took over a situation that was divided by race, controversial issues, the NFL involvement, the owner potentially getting fined and suspended. Mike McDaniel took that culture and situation over. They're 7-3. Quarterback playing at an all-time level. Playing at a top 5 level at the moment. Mike McDaniel, again, I know these are very successful teams and you thought they would be at least good, but I like to give credit for those little things. Big surprise for me, Miami Dolphins being 7-3 through 10 weeks. Dealing with Tua being injured as well. We should add that. Nothing short of exceptional.
One last one before we get to disappointment. I got to throw in the New York Jets. I mean, I'd be mistaken if we did it. Zach Wilson, I'm still not sold on Zach Wilson. I would even go as far as to say I don't see him being the future of the New York Jets, but the fact that they're 6-3 with Zach Wilson, again, being out for a couple of those weeks where you had Joe Flacco in the lineup, they were still winning games. I got to give credit to not only Robert Saleh, but Mike LaFleur. Mount Pleasant native, Salah, Dearborn native. Those guys are doing a hell of a job in New York. We know if we know anything about New York, we know the media is going to be on your ass if you're not winning. And so far, they are winning. They're 6-3. They're tied for first in their own division right now, currently with the Buffalo Bills. Excuse me. So again, overachieving in New York.
Let's get to a few disappointments before we come back to success stories. Okay,
let's do it.
I want to start with two teams. The Denver Broncos have been an absolute disappointment, along with Russell Wilson. Pathetic football.
Yeah.
And I would also say the Raiders, hell, the AFC West in general. Those two teams have been beyond pathetic. And Jeff, you know what? Expectations matter. And when you put expectations on we could contend for a Super Bowl and you're 3-6 and 2-7,
right,
that doesn't fly well with me.
No, it doesn't. Especially the Broncos, too. You have Nathaniel Hackett. I'm going to be honest with you. When he was first hired, I didn't mind the hire. Didn't know how it would translate. He's kind of bringing that offense he used with Aaron Rodgers. Clearly, Russell Wilson, it's a bad match. They come off a bye week and they lose to the Tennessee Titans. There's no excuse for that. You had a bye week to fix your issues, or at least fix something offensively, and they still lose. So Denver Broncos, they're up there for disappointments. You could argue they're number one. Nathaniel Hackett, I'm not sure if he'll make it through this season or he'll be here next season, but Russell Wilson's looked bad. The offense has looked bad. The defense has been a reason why they're in a majority of these games. So, yeah, they're number one. Number two would be easily the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh McDaniels, and I read a report, too, that the Raiders aren't in no position. They're not cash rich enough to fire McDaniels at this point, because it'd be another coach on payroll that you fire. That's interesting. But to be honest with you, when you see Devontae Adams sign, you see Chandler Jones sign there, you think Derek Carr and Devontae, the offense will be, especially with Josh McDaniels, it'll be something to reckon with.
I can understand.
It's been the opposite.
But I can understand the Raiders more than the Broncos. I can. I
Really?
could really make the argument. Hear me out.
Really? Okay.
Hunter Renfrow, top 5 slot receiver, done for the year. Darren Waller, injured all season. Offensive line falls apart. Wait. Offensive line falls apart. Where this team doubled down and where they were the most potent was on what, Jeff? Offense.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, what happens? Abrams cut. Injuries all across the secondary in the front seven. Everybody's hurt. They are playing with backups. I can understand that situation more than most.
What about early in the year when those guys were there? They
played the Chiefs. They had a rough schedule.
I know.
I'm trying to be fair.
I get you.
I agree. They have been very disappointing.
And they had a chance against the Chiefs, too. And then that decision to go for it.
They played them well. Again, I can look at the early part of the year and say, you know what? A 24-19 loss on the road to the Chargers. Okay. A home loss 29-23 in overtime to the Cardinals. Okay. 24-22 to the Titans. Okay. They beat the Broncos. They lose to the Chiefs by 1 point. Then they beat the Texans. And then it really all fell apart after that. See where I'm going with this? I can understand it. Because, you look at the last game. They lose to the Colts. Why? Derek Carr, 24 of 38. 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. They didn't turn the ball over. Why'd they lose? Devontae Adams had a big game.
That's a good question.
Why'd they lose?
It's a good question.
You see, I think McDaniels isn't doing a good job. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I can understand bringing him for next year. You don't want to fire a guy, especially after all the money you're already paying for Gruden and all these other guys. It's time to see year 2 and make your decision. You guys know how I am. Thanksgiving of the following year of a coach, I typically have my answer. I'm ready for next year, November. We'll talk about McDaniels, I'm sure. And he'll either be surprising the league and really happy and forward and everything's going well, or he'll be out. It's that simple. Yeah. Welcome to the NFL. Win or lose, Jeff. Can't make excuses for everybody. Let's see. One more disappointment before we go. The Detroit Lions.
Really?
Yeah. Through 10 weeks. The last 2 weeks have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They have been great to talk about. It's been great conversations. All of you calling in and talking to us about the Lions has been very nice. Having said that, you still have given up the most points in the NFL. I did not forget about the coaching blunders in the first 5 games of the year. I did not forget about giving up 48 to Seattle and not forcing them to punt. I did not forget making Dallas punt once, making the Packers punt once, making the Patriots punt once. I did not forget. And not forget the game against Philly, timeout before half, the timeout coming out of half, getting burnt on both plays. The onside kick in the third quarter. I didn't forget. I didn't forget Minnesota. I'm just saying. This is a team through 10 weeks, in my opinion, has disappointed because I think they're better than what their record says, which means I think they're here. Their record says they're here. That is disappointing. I am disappointed. That is the fucking standard definition of it. Not to the degree maybe you're taking it as, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from here. Mm-hmm. I saw them here before the year, right? And then you have all these teams up here that are contenders and whatever. And then they're here, somewhere in the middle. Maybe a little below the middle. And they're playing here right now. I'm not happy about that. Just because the last 2 weeks, again, have gone very well, and they've won, does not mean I forget the first 7 games of the year also.
So, can I ask you something?
Go for it.
Why are the Lions a disappointment, given their situation and what we expected, rather than the Las Vegas Raiders?
Because on defense, they have been worse. But with the defensive coordinator that you thought, including myself, including almost everybody in this business, you thought the Lions would take a step forward on defense. They would probably finish ranked 22nd, 23rd, or 24th on defense. They're sitting there at 32. Again. I'll say it again. Again, they are sitting there at 32. That is disappointing. Very disappointing. And it's costing you games. And what did I tell you before the year, Jeff? That they would be a pain in the ass to play against. What have they looked like the last 2 weeks? A team that's a pain in the ass to play against. What do you know? That's why I'm disappointed. Not because I think they are significantly underachieving, fire everybody.
Yeah, hell
the
no.
last 2 weeks have really saved their season.
Especially when you lose guys like Tracy. You don't have Romeo.
That all matters.
Yeah, right. Aiden's your only liable pass rusher.
32 is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. No, defense is bad. I mean, we didn't think it'd be historically bad.
That's the disappointing part. Like I said, the Lions' defense is disappointing. The offense, again, has shown you moments. They've given you the opportunities to win games. And the last 2 games, they have found a way to score more than your opponent. Great. But let's not forget the last 2 games, Jeff. You've given up 9 to the Packers with almost 400 yards of offense. Flip that around the next week against the Bears. You give up over 400 yards of offense, but how many points did you give up? See where I'm going? We all know why the Packers lost. We know the Lions made the plays when they had to, but let's not be naive to the performance. The plays, those individual plays, won them that game. Let's not forget that defense was getting worked up and down the field in both games. I'm just trying to be fair here. When I say disappointed, it is mainly because of that 1-6 start. Because I believe that 1-6 should have been 4-3 or 3-4. Not up until now you decide to win 2 games in a row, but you started 1-6. That's why I'm disappointed. Fair or not fair? Am I being too harsh?
No, I think it's fair. I'm not going to go that route because I knew this defense was going to... Again, the game in Minnesota, you play them down to the last seconds, and Juju Hughes pretty much gives up a wide-open touchdown. Who replaced Tracy Walker, might I add, to win the game? So, I get it. Just context of some of these games.
I understand, but don't make me go to Atlanta.
It really could go either way.
Don't make me go to New York with
I understand
injuries,
that, but
right?
those would be teams that are overachieving, right?
Of
Lions
course.
aren't overachieving. I think they're just kind of...
They're there.
They're
there, but
they are what they are.
That's not great for me. I don't think that's good either.
Oh.
And again, you can't just pull the 1-6 start out of my brain. They've won the last 2 weeks. I'm very, very happy about that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I forget
where you were. You expected them
what you started
to beat winning teams early in the year, like a Seattle, Minnesota, Philly. Like those are winning teams. So
those were winnable games. To get blown out by the Patriots with Bailey Zappi,
that one.
To lose to the Cowboys and get blown out off a bye and commit 5 turnovers and 8 penalties. I don't forget these things.
Mm-hmm.
You can forget them. That's fine. You don't like me. That's fine. I don't forget 1-6, and I don't forget 2-0 now.
Right.
I take that into consideration. But through 10 weeks, it's been disappointing. Because you see the potential in this team. You see the ability they do have at times. They need to string it together more consistently. You've seen it the last 2 weeks. They've been making more plays, forcing turnovers. Very fun to watch.
And we haven't seen that
all season.
Yeah. The turnovers
right? So
are
now
huge.
You're here. I like the last 2 weeks a lot. But I would say, Jeff, if they were 2-7 and they split between the Packers and Bears, would you not say they're disappointing?
Yeah.
So one win, I'm just going to completely erase all the logic I had through 7, 8, 9 weeks.
It comes in the fact of the last 2 weeks. You beat Green Bay.
Of
you win on
course,
the road.
and I'm with you, and that matters.
You win on the road, yeah. That's.
But I'm just trying to
I
give
would say the Colts have been more disappointing. I think I would probably put them over the Lions, given what their expectations were before the season. The Lions could still finish with 6 or 7 wins, and I ain't saying a thing. Although you're disappointed how it started, they could ultimately still get to that point. So the Colts, to me, that's disappointing for what I expected for the Colts. I mean, that's a playoff team to me before the season, and they're the complete opposite.
Yeah, guys, so in the chat, I'm not saying they are more disappointing than, let's say, the Denver Broncos or the Raiders. All these teams have different expectations and are failing in different ways.
Right.
But you can't tell me through 10 weeks it hasn't been disappointing. I don't know, outside of a few, maybe handful of people that would sit there and say, boy, through 10 weeks, I am uber confident in the Lions right now.
No, uber.
Well, again, we're talking about teams that are really, I would say, surprising you and disappointing you. Mm-hmm. And I would qualify the Lions as a disappointment so far. You can't have me forget a 7-game sample just because you have 2 good game samples after that, right? The Jeff Okudah stuff. He has 1 very good game that does not justify 3 years of 2 interceptions and poor play. 3 years of being injured, not available, and when on the field, not great. And this year, he's been very good. I have to give him credit. He's been very good on run support. This past game against Chicago, I thought his best game as a cover corner.
Yeah.
Because it was man, it was zone, it was mano-a-mano. It wasn't safeties coming down to help with Justin Jefferson. It wasn't safeties coming down to help with Devontae Smith. No, there's a big difference now, right?
Right.
And then what happened after that safety call-out game with DK and Tyler? They both went off. 48 points. What do you know? So I like to keep things in perspective. You don't like that? That's fine. I don't need you to like me. I like to hear your opinions, and I'll give you mine.
The encouraging part for me, though, and I've said this already this season, at least players taking that next step. I think I can appreciate that. Although, from a coaching perspective, you've seen games, absolutely, they've been winnable, and it's come down to 1 play or 2 plays at the end, and that's kind of been the Lions' MO, losing close games. But for me, I see guys getting better, young players. That's encouraging to me, but I get it. The result, 1-6. It is frustrating for a lot of Lions fans. Not just.
See, this is where you guys confuse me. This is where you guys confuse me a little bit. Adam, it's disappointing only if you thought they would win 7 games. Adam, better than 21, but still not a good football team. The roster isn't there, and MCDC is learning on the fly. That's a problem. That's not an excuse. That is a problem. Because Atlanta's winning more games than you. Chicago has the same amount of wins. The Giants and the Jets are playoff teams. The Seahawks, who were supposed to tank for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, are a playoff team. Top of their division. Don't come at me with roster excuses when there are teams overachieving with just as bad, if not a worse roster. And a worse quarterback situation. The Jets do not like their quarterback. At all. They're finding ways to win. The Jets don't have perimeter threats, only Garrett Wilson.
But they also have...
They lost Breece Hall.
I understand.
They lost their offensive lineman.
But they also have a defense that can hold you to 16 points and get turnovers. But I get what you're saying.
And you have an offense that's giving you almost 30 a game.
Not really. I mean, yeah, they did it against the Bears, and they did it in the first half against Miami, but they've been spotty, too, the last couple of weeks. So
I understand.
You need that offense. I get what you're saying, though. You need that offense to get back where it was.
I need my defense not to be 32nd in the NFL.
Well, they're...
If you can't coach them up 5-6 spots, you have a coaching problem. I don't care what the talent is.
No, you're right. The talent, they're definitely the worst defense in the league, but I get what you're saying. Coaching should overcome that and at least get those guys in better positions. But, again... They've been getting turnovers as bad as they are. So
look, you want to go offensively?
Get credit somewhere.
We do have to take a break. Holy hell! I think we skipped one. Holy hell! We've been doing this for a minute. You want to talk about where the offense is? They're averaging the 6th most yards a game. Okay, Jeff. They are scoring the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th most points per game. They are scoring more points than the Cowboys, the Browns, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Saints, the Niners, the Jets, the Bears, the Jaguars, the Giants, the Panthers, the Commanders, the Packers, the Titans, the Bucks, the Texans, the Rams, the Colts, the Steelers, and the Broncos.
And let's be honest, a majority of that was the first 4 or 5 weeks. And on top of that, was that in the first half or was that in both halves? Like that's my question.
I can do this with every team, though.
You can't deny.
I would be very cautious going down that road. Because
Not really.
if you want to go down that road, I could make the argument. I'm
just saying, I watched this offense go scoreless at New England.
Absolutely.
Followed up with 6 against Dallas.
Absolutely.
But we could take the 30, 40 points consecutive games. Yeah, that's going to matter. You're going to score more than the Giants. But, again, the Giants can keep games close. And that is coaching, too. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. But I can't – I don't know. I can't get behind that. The offense, they've been better. They were better against the last 2 games. But they got to get better. They really
Let's look at the teams, the seven teams. Hell, let's do the 10 teams that give up the most points in the NFL. The Lions at 29 a game. The Browns at 26, the Cardinals at 25, Chargers at 25, Raiders at 25, Falcons at 25, the Bears at 25, the Saints at 25, Panthers and the Dolphins at 24, the Seahawks at 24. Yes, you don't have a great defense. It's not great.
Oh, it's terrible.
It should not be 32nd in the NFL. You have to find ways to get more. And the last 2 weeks, you saw kind of the Jekyll and Hyde performance.
Mm-hmm.
Both games, you're giving up a ton of yards. Green Bay made a ton of turnovers. They couldn't score on you. Opportune moments at the 1-yard line. The Bears took advantage of your defense, scored all over the place. But on the final drive, your defense stepped up and won you that game. Let's take a break. When we get back, Thursday Night Football tonight. Can't wait to have that conversation. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings. Cintron has combined all 3 of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in 1 pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
Thanksgiving is all about family and friends. That's why Woodward Sports wants to send you and your crew front row for the Thanksgiving Day football game.
Easy there. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
That's right, you and 3 people that you're thankful for sitting in row number 1. So close you can hear the action, smell the excitement, and taste the glory of Detroit football. All you have to do to enter is retweet or share our post on Twitter and IG and tag 3 of your friends or family. If all 3 of those people are following Woodward Sports too, and we pick your name, you and your crew will all get the best seats inside Ford Field. So hop on Twitter and Instagram and tag your crew. And we'll see you Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Brought to you by Lady Jane's and Custom Health Centers.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, we are back live, woodwardsports.com. My goodness, Ryan, you fat ass. Whoa, bro. You know what? I'm actually excited today. Because this picture, Ryan, I don't know the exact weight, but he's pretty heavy stocked in this picture. This was taken a few weeks ago before he started with Custom Health.
He's beautiful,
Custom
man.
Health Centers. Wait till you watch him today on Romani and Edwards. I think you'll all notice a huge difference. He's already lost over 15 pounds. Feels better, looks better. That triple chin he has gone down. It's now looking like a 1.5 chin. Soon he'll just have 1 chin. That'll be awesome. So Ryan's looking great, man. I'm happy for him. Great job, Dr. Jason, everybody, what they're doing at Custom Health Centers. But we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Live, woodwardsports.com. What's with the body shaming? It's my coworker. Say whatever the hell I want about him. All right, Jeff, Tennessee Titans, Green Bay Packers tonight. Who you got?
Give me the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, on the road?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not expect that answer.
Listen, what happened last week against the Cowboys, I think that was more about the Cowboys. I know Green Bay capitalized. Christian Watson had a terrific performance. Whoever started him in fantasy, by the way, you're a genius. But I don't know if they could duplicate that. This Green Bay offense has been spotty all year, and defensively, losing some of their better players like Eric Stokes, Rashawn Gary. They still gave up. Although they capitalized, they created turnovers against Dak Prescott. I just don't think they're going to have those opportunities this week. You have Derrick Henry, who's a bad man, and they're going to be able to run the football. So give me Tennessee on the road here to beat Green Bay. Although Green Bay has more to play for, I get all of that, the narrative. If you want to go with Green Bay at home, at Lambeau, that's fine. But give me Derrick Henry, because no matter what the weather looks like.
I think it's a great matchup.
No matter what the weather looks like.
Cold weather, both teams can run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I like this to be a 14-13, a 17-14 game.
Yeah.
Give me the Packers at home. They improved to 5-6. Big win for Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. I'm going with the Packers tonight.
Good luck tackling Derrick Henry in the cold, man.
Henry tears his ACL tonight.
Oh my God! Don't say that. Why? What is that?
I just have a bad feeling.
Did you wake up in the middle of the night and have a dream? Like what?
I talked to God last night.
Oh my God.
And he told me after I traded Derrick Henry, I no longer care for his body.
Oh, that's why. That's why. Yeah, no,
I'm joking.
I hope Derrick goes for $150 and 3 touchdowns.
Derrick Henry's been a beast. God bless him. I mean, he is the engine for that team.
He is.
He'll eat tonight. I think easily, if you want to prop bet 80 yards plus rushing, definitely get him in the red zone anytime touchdown. I would, alongside that, I would do A.J. Dillon over the yards. They'll probably rely more on him tonight.
Aaron Jones has been.
So I like a lot of what's going on.
Playing well, too.
I think there's a lot of good things. And if I'm real with all of you, I think the Packers, that win last week, again, I look at history. I look at trends. I look at what have I seen before and what haven't I seen. When you are down 28-14 to a playoff team at home, and you find a way to come back and win in overtime, you haven't given up on your coach. You haven't lost the locker room. You haven't given up on your players and your talent and what you have. Packers are 4-6. Sure, they suck right now. Watch out for the Packers to finish 9-8 or 10-7.
Wow.
I think they win out.
Wow.
Or I wouldn't say win out, but they win a majority of their games down the stretch. I would see only maybe one more loss. I could totally see 10-7 with this team. I could totally see 9-8. So whether they finish 5-2 or 6-1 down the stretch, we'll see. I think that's their reality. Give me the Packers to win tonight.
Interesting. I do think it'll. No, I don't mind it. I think, like you said, it's a good matchup. Both teams are going to want to run the football. It's probably going to be low scoring. That time of possession. It's going to come down to who turns the ball over, and maybe you lean Tennessee in that way, but I just think Derrick Henry is going to be too much for this defense. So give me the Tennessee Titans on the road, but Lambeau's a tough place to play, so it's really a toss-up, but it's a good Thursday night game, something we haven't really gotten to see a whole lot of this year. It's good Monday night and good Thursday night games, so it'll be a good one, but I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I really am.
I like it. I like it a lot. Well, look, you know what? A lot of fantasy implications tonight. I'll tell you who I got going, Jeff. Who do I play this week, by the way? I haven't even checked. In our league, who do you play? Woodward Sports League. Oh, I play Jonah. And
actually,
I am projected to kick his ass. Oh, dear God.
I do play Roman. Roman has Derrick Henry.
Oh, man. Damn it, I have Waddle on a bye.
That's going to be interesting.
I don't like this. All right. Let's see how my team does. Oh, well. If I lose this week, I'm still 9-2. I could care less. I'll live.
Uh-oh.
I will live. We will survive, Jeff. We will survive. All right. Here's what I got for you, buddy. In my big league, I'm going up against... Do I have any Thursday night games tonight? I do not. Damn it. I got nobody going tonight. That's brutal. All right, I guess I just get to bet on the game like a normal person. I have no fantasy implications tonight, Jeff.
See, I just hope I kind of wish I didn't take Derrick Henry to have a really good game because now I'm facing him. So we'll see. But I'm still leaning in that direction. Bruno, if you're watching, we'll see what happens.
All right, good luck to everybody. We'll be right back. When we get back, mailbag time. Get your questions in the Woodward Sports chat, and we'll answer all of them right away. But before we go, Jeff, the best defense on and off the field.
Let me tell you about them, because it's Guardian Alarm, guys, and Guardian Alarm will protect you as long as you allow them to. As the snow falls, you're staying inside, you're staying warm. Allow Guardian Alarm to protect your outside. If you call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, you can rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports Station.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Check out Moneyball Sportswear, because it is your one-stop shop. Whether you want the latest look in athletic apparel or you need new uniforms for your team, Moneyball has it all. Stop in Moneyball showroom in Southfield and experience the only way to ball. Or visit moneyballsportswear.com. You can join Woodward Sports' own Braylon Edwards on Black Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you can win some Moneyball swag. Moneyball, the only way to ball.
All right, we are back. 9:51 live, woodwardsports.com. Jack Harrington asks, Adam and Jeff, what do you think of my upset UCLA over USC, Jeff? I'm kind of biased.
No, I don't mind it. I actually like it. I might lean UCLA this weekend as well. I'm not even going to lie to you. But if you want to go best player in the game, it's going to be Caleb Williams. So that'll be the reason for
USC
that.
are only 2.5-point favorites. It's basically a toss-up game at this point.
It's going to be high scoring.
It is really going to be high scoring. The over/under is at 75.5.
Oh, it's going to go back and forth.
Having said that, give me USC. I'm really. I mean, you guys know how very biased I am as of now towards Lincoln Riley. I think he's a hell of a coach. What he's already done at USC is more than what I even thought year one. The fact that they're pushing for a college football playoff berth is unbelievable to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a statement win. If you want to get to the college football playoff, you have to win ranked games on the road.
This is one of them.
And this is the big one. Can you do it? I'm going to go with USC here.
Pistons fan 11 asks, question, more likely Hutch gets 10 sacks or J-Mo gets 4 touchdowns when he comes back?
Hutch gets 10 sacks.
Yeah, I would lean that way as well. What do we got here? I'm still mad about Ebron over Donald.
Yeah, bro, join the club.
Join the club, yeah.
Join the club, dude.
We're all mad.
Who would you rather have, Stroud or Young? I'm going to say neither right now.
No question, Bryce Young.
I'm kind of like...
I'll take the guys.
I'm pulling myself away from the quarterback talk right now.
Well, I mean, if you're talking reality, are you going to get either one? Probably not. But if they're in a position to take one, give me Bryce. He's been the best player in the country every year he's played. So
I would probably have to lean Bryce as well, but I don't want to do it. USC's schedule has been quite terrible, worse than Michigan's. That is not true at all. What are you smoking, dude? USC have played more ranked teams than than Michigan has, number one. They played Oregon State on the road and won. They hosted, they went on the road to Utah, who's the 10th best team in the country, and lost by 1 point. They played Arizona on the road. They beat Cal at home. They beat Colorado, sure. Their last 2 games are against ranked opponents. In the next 2 weeks, they will play 2 ranked opponents. That is as many as Michigan will play all year. Penn State and Ohio State.
Think about that, too. Lincoln Riley's first year with USC, they're already in contention to possibly make the college football playoff. Don't think it'll happen, but hell of a job by Lincoln Riley, man. He's an incredible coach.
Mailbag, if the Lions win this weekend versus the Giants, would you want to see J-Mo play 10 to 15 plays versus the Bills, or save him for the Jags the following week because you have a lot of time off after? Yeah, I'm about Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the date I'm looking at and saying Jameson Williams returns December 4th. That's the date.
Like, to come back for Thanksgiving, it just seems like it.
Tough turnaround.
Yeah.
You're going to have only a walkthrough, one practice, and then it's walkthrough, and then
it's the
Thursday's
Bills.
here.
Yeah, and then you
right?
face the Bills. I don't know about that one.
All right, let's see what else we got. Hendon Hooker's 26, so no.
He would be 31 by his next contract.
Hooker's maybe going in the 3rd round if he's lucky.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe a team takes a chance on him in the 2nd, but I doubt it. With Swift unhappy with his usage, what do? You feed him the ball, and you tell him, hey, buddy, stop running like a little girl, put your shoulder pads down, and hit somebody, and run north and south, because I'm tired of watching you run east and west, losing yards, and preventing yourself from getting big plays.
There was a play, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, too.
I did, the screenplay.
Yeah. Wide open for about 15, 20 yards, and he went east.
That's a tough one.
It is what it is. What do we got? Thoughts on Lions picking up Sewell in the draft? Could be a monster like his brother. I wouldn't mind it. I do like. I've been watching a little bit of him, especially you do need another linebacker. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. We'll see, though. We'll see what. And by the way, I saw another question in here. Would you rather go defense, double down on defense, or take your quarterback? Again, it depends where they're selecting. If you're picking top 3 and Will Anderson goes and let's say C.J. Stroud goes and Bryce Young's right there, you take Bryce Young. That's just the reality. But if you were picking at 7, 8, and you have the Rams pick and you pick at another time at 11 or 12, I'm taking both. Both picks are defense for me.
What kind of watch along are you guys doing for the Ohio State-Michigan game? So here's what we're doing. We're doing a live Ohio State-Michigan pregame show.
Ooh.
Right? And then on kickoff, we're going to be streaming. We're going to have couch cameras for everybody sitting, group, single, solo, you name it, we got it. Everybody's going to be sitting around eating some food, having a good time, talking shit, and watching the Ohio State-Michigan game. So we're going to have fun with it. Can't wait. Thoughts on Cam Rising? Utah quarterback plays a lot like Josh Allen.
And then listen, when people,
do I like him? How in the first round? No.
You know what I don't like to do. You know what I don't like to do is have these conversations. This guy, he plays like Patrick Mahomes. This guy plays like Josh Allen. Like, remember when Trey Lance coming out, he looked like Patrick Mahomes, right? Like how he could throw, his mobility, the angles he could throw at, and then I don't like comparing him. Cam Rising's good, but the next Josh Allen, he plays a lot like Josh Allen. Let's just slow down.
Adam, who would win?
Slow down a little bit.
Adam, who would win in Madden, Fish or Jeff?
Oh, I'd whoop Fish's ass.
No, I think Fish beats you 52-0.
I'm gonna be honest.
What console are we playing on?
All I play.
Are we playing on the PlayStation or the Xbox?
All I play nowadays, Fish, are sports games. That's all I have time for. If I want to sit down and play, I'm playing 2K or I'm playing Madden.
You left work early to go play Warzone.
So I'm Ryan, you douchebag. I'm not even playing Warzone. So if you guys want the smoke in any of those games, holler at me.
Adam, do you like these props tonight? Here are some props I like. Lazard touchdown. Oh, deleted it. Oh, rip. Sorry,
You're
Jesse.
an idiot.
Oh,
and I play NHL too. NHL's fun as well.
Fish, if you were going to go to an Ohio State game, would you yell "Go Blue" at Ohio State people?
I'd have to think about that. I was gonna do it back when I was in Columbus in January at the USA Soccer game. I was gonna yell "Go Blue" in Columbus.
Interesting.
But I possibly, if they would win, and I was down there, hell yeah, I'd yell
Fish,
"Go
who's
Blue."
winning the World
They
Cup?
deserve it. Wow. You know, probably like Argentina, Brazil.
Brazil, I would agree with. I'm not going to say Argentina.
No? Okay.
Messi's an old fart.
Wow.
So is Ronaldo.
Then you can't
How
say
about
Portugal.
I make this bet? Argentina make it out of the group stage, but Portugal don't.
Ooh,
I'll bet $100 Portugal don't get out of the group stage. Deal?
I mean, I don't do
I'll buy
money.
you lunch for a week.
Take that bet, Fish.
Should I
Portugal
take that
will not
bet?
make it out of the group
Take it.
stage.
Don't even think about it.
And the United States will finish top of their group
Ooh.
with 4 points.
So you're going for package? Oh, boy.
Fish, don't even think about it. Say yes.
All right, I'll say yes, I guess.
It's free lunch for a week.
Well, yeah, but the odds of that happening are...
Who cares?
Whose mustache connects to their
People still
beard
buy lottery
first?
tickets, right?
No, I know.
Question.
Even though there's...
All right, last question.
Yeah, but someone's going to win the lottery.
Whose mustache
This probably
connects
won't be you.
to their beard first?
Good point.
Jeff or Easy?
Whose
I'm
mustache
gonna go
connects
Jeff,
to their beard
because
first?
I don't know. Like Easy's facial hair is weird because it kind of like goes in and then out and then down
Easy?
and up.
Easy, man. He's
and then he's got all the baldness here. So
Easy's a good-looking
I'm not
fella.
relying on Easy for hair.
He's a good-looking fella. I can't even lie
He
to you.
is.
Pause
He is.
on that. Pause. But
yeah. He's a good-looking guy.
he's got
I
a nice
guess.
beard. He does.
Depends what your cup of tea is. No? You're in a
Oh,
heavyweight?
ladies, I'll tell you right here. Ladies love it. Ladies love it. I know that. Easy's a stud. He really is. And Spencer. Both the heavyweights.
By the way, can I say France is a dark horse even though they have like 85 players out?
Yeah, no, France isn't doing anything.
But I just sense that France could just
They-
come
I
up
can
from the
sense they can
ground.
suck my nuts.
Wow.
That's what I
Oh,
think of France.
that-
They're the most ignorant people in the world.
Okay.
They're
My
racist
God.
as hell. They're
Okay.
all
What?
pieces of shit. I hate the country of France.
Okay, all
If we
right.
could start a war with anybody
No,
right now, I
no,
would pick France.
no.
Having said that, that's it for today's show.
You do
all
realize
have a
they're
great
our
rest of
biggest
your
allies.
Thursday.
No.
Enjoy Thursday Night Football. We're out of here. Thank you so much for joining the show, everybody. Make sure you like the video before you go.
Yep.
Check out woodwardsports.com for all the latest news on your favorite sports teams. We're out of here. For Jeff, myself, Fish, and that guy in the booth, we're out of here.
Go enjoy Thursday Night
Later.
Football. How do you not?